I'm Jake Bruton, and last week on the Build Show we talked about egress windows. Now let's talk about how you replace those pesky poured-in-place metal windows in a foundation. Let's do it now. Okay, so same project as last week's video that we talked about the egress windows in the foundation. Actually, the same room even, that egress windows around the corner behind us here. And what we have here is one of those poured-in-place metal, you know, the clipped in at the top, single pane, double-strength glass that we've taken out and gotten rid of and replaced with a Andersen 100 series to match the egress windows that we bought. Couple things to note. The way that we order these is we order them with a decent amount of space around them because we know that the foundation has done that over time, and chances of that unit being exactly square or that rough opening being square are very low, and really I've ordered a lot of windows that were too snug to get in. Number two, you have to have enough space for insulation, for backer rod, for shims. You can't cut them so tight that then you can't even shim them in place. These units are concrete opening that we pulled the metal out of, and then the unit is slid in place, shimmed, and then mounted the same way that we mount the European windows. So it has a screw that goes through both sides of the frame and catches the concrete. In this instance, it's Tapcons on all the units. And to maintain the largest area of glass, we ordered a picture on all of these except for the bedroom or the bathroom window. We're right-sizing the unit. We're getting rid of that metal unit completely, the frame and everything. We actually have the concrete cutting company cut them out if we're not able to get them out, or sometimes we'll use a grinder here. We ground them out ourselves. And after the window's in place, we get our little bit of insulation and we get our backer rod. So we're stuffing backer rod in around the entire unit so that we can create that hourglass shape with our exterior sealant. In this case, I should note, the reason we're using a sealant here instead of a tape, I'm not a huge fan of tape once you start having to fold things, and there are very few tapes on the market that actually are rated to stick to concrete. Siga does make a Fentrum tape that we would consider using here, but then we'd have to have a covering treatment over top of it, meaning we would have to build some sort of frame and casing, or we would have to bend some sort of brake metal that we could seat in there with caulking over top of that. And then we're talking about a tape with something else mushed tight over top of it, potentially more fasteners. It just is a lot more complicated than just using a sealant. And this is Meltel from Siga. We're using the white. I think the 310 is actually the milliliters, but you can find it on their site. This is an elastomeric product that is rated to stick to like wood, vinyl, concrete. Like there's a whole bunch of stuff in the you can use it for this category, which happens to be something that Siga does quite often. For us, this is what it's designed for. It's designed, I think they came up with it primarily, I may be wrong here, for like storefront connections. So like an aluminum window to a masonry connection. For us, that's storefront. For European, that's windows in residential sometimes. So this works great here. We're able to mask the window off, apply a liberal bead of the product, and we're doing it. If you don't have a battery-powered caulking gun yet, you should have a battery-powered caulking gun. And then tooling it in place and peeling the tape. It's not 100% perfect. There's always workability concerns with it, but it is a much cleaner, much less effort product than if we had to add a metal trim or a wood frame trim around it that then gets mounted to the face of the concrete. All that's left here is to come in with a cup on a grinding wheel, take all the vines and everything off the foundation, and then repaint the foundation with a high quality paint. And this sealant is actually paintable, so this Meltel, we could get the paint color to be consistent from edge of window all the way to grade, all the way up to the wood frame of the house. I think this is one of those things that we end up doing all the time as contractors, and nobody really has a great method for the get rid of that garbage poured in place window and swap something else. This is the best I think we've ever done at it, and I'm excited that this solves some of the problems for us. So thank you, Sega, for making a product that solves problems. Till next time, thanks for watching on the Build Show Network. Don't forget, there are a ton of new contributors. There is a lot of content on the Build Show Network. You're going to miss some of it if you don't subscribe to the newsletter, so make sure you sign up. There are 2 newsletter videos a week. I'm really grateful to be involved. I'm learning from everybody on the channel, and I'm really happy that they keep including me in this process. Don't forget to check out the podcast, Unbuild It Podcast, with Steve Basic, Peter Yost, and myself, and follow me on Instagram. Thanks for watching.